Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. This is your host, Keely Austin. Today is Takeoff Tuesday. It is September 29th. I am very grateful and excited to be here with you this morning. So a couple of quick announcements before we start our training today. We have our dates for regionals, which is coming up October 23rd and 24th. We'll be doing a full day of training with some national leaders and then another full day of training with some more local leaders in our region. I absolutely love regionals. It's going to be our first regionals that'll be online. And I know with how well our online nationals went this year, this is going to be a lot of fun. So looking forward to that. Make sure you have those 2 dates marked on your calendar. You have those dates off of work or do what you need to do to be present for those trainings. And then we also have dates for our Nationals Conference. The 2021 National Conference will be March 18th through the 20th. And our theme this year or next year will be shifting higher into focused transformation. We have dates for Leaders Retreat, which will be August 13th through the 17th, 2021. We'll be going to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Very excited to see you all on the beach. That'll be a lot of fun. If you would like to, feel free to take a screenshot of the screen as I'm going to go ahead and break down some of these events in the upcoming slides. So today's Tuesday, so we have our Prophets Intro today at noon Mountain Time. You can find that in the Helios calendar if you just search for Elevate or search for Michael. And then every single Wednesday, we have a house tour in English. Someone was confused if it was like a house tour in the UK. And so I just wanted to be clear that it's in Salt Lake City in the English language. And then we do the same house tour on Thursdays in Spanish. So last week's tour was awesome. It was Juan's first deal. He's 19 years old. He's a newer student and he began the project about 4 months ago and we'll be finishing it up here in just a week or so. And when he sells it, he will be walking away he's been very conservative with his numbers, so it's more likely going to be on the higher end of around $50,000 as opposed to $40,000. Either way, he's walking away with a really nice net profit where he did none of his own, or used none of his own money, did none of the work by himself. So congratulations to Juan for an awesome deal. And I'm excited to see what deal we have to explore tomorrow. So make sure that you're building for this event. We have a lot of people there that are, present at the tour, but then also they make sure to speak into the microphone so that everyone online can hear. So they've made it really, really just a really great event for both online and people there in person. And like I mentioned, on Thursday, we are doing the same house tour, however, it's in Spanish. And on Thursdays, we have a lot going on. You can find details on these events on our website, teamelevateusa.com. So every Thursday at 7 p.m., we have our Spanish house tour alongside our Pillars of Wealth intro presentation. The Pillars of Wealth, Michael Huggins has been doing a great job introducing our guests to the Renatus opportunity. And for those who have maybe seen the intro already and are perhaps looking at some funding options, then they can attend, instead of the intro, the follow-up and funding workshop, which is also at 7 on Thursdays. We also have an onboarding class that is both for students and guests, but it's designed for newer students to kind of get an idea of what the next steps to take are as they're getting started. And we also have multiple study groups built around real estate. So for our students, you can attend our Fix and Flip study group every Thursday, 7 p.m. We have one around multifamily. We have one around short-term rentals, wholesaling, as well as an essential study group for those who maybe only have the essentials or are just getting started with the essentials. That is available in English and in Spanish. And we also have a business development study group. So lots going on Thursdays. Make sure you are tuning in. You can, again, find these on teamelevateusa.com, but first, please make sure you always register in Helios. And to find these events in Helios, you will simply search for Laura Black, and these should pop up. So as I mentioned, we are recording and we are on Facebook Live as well as on YouTube. So make sure that you're a part of our Facebook page, Renatus Team Elevate. There's a lot of important announcements there, as well as that's where we post these live trainings, and you can also catch the recordings on the Facebook page. And then you'll also want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Elevate Renatus. And you'll find there that there's lots and lots of recordings, a ton of value on that website. So make sure you take advantage of that. So this morning we get to learn from Bill Predebon. Bill is such an amazing individual. I've gotten to know Bill, very fortunate to have gotten to know Bill over the last couple of years as we both work here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Bill has done a fantastic job at demonstrating what it means to be a product of the product. He has been very successful both on the marketing side of our business as well as on the real estate side. And he spent a lot of his time doing real estate and has somewhat recently, within the last couple of years, has really dove into the marketing side. And so he spends a morning, an hour with us every Tuesday morning to share with us what's been working for him. So a little bit of Bill's background. So in the case that you don't know Bill, before Renatus, he was a pro skier for 10 years in Vail, Colorado. And at the time, he realized that he was really not qualified to do much else. And so he needed to make some changes. He looked into some income opportunities, and he actually fell into a franchise where he owned a couple of stores. And due to lack of knowledge, he ended up losing the stores and losing everything. In 2007, he heard about real estate investing. And so he attempted real estate investing on his own. Right before the crash. What a time to get into real estate investing without education. So he ended up actually in 2008 upside down in over $400,000 because of the crash. And it was after that that he found the Renatus education and was able to pull himself out of that hole. So in his first year in Renatus, after he was applying what he was learning with the education, I know that at the time short sales were prevalent, and he did quite a few short sales, and he was able to, like I said, pull himself out of that hole. And in his first year, he made 8 times more than he did the previous year as both a loan officer and a realtor. So the Renatus education really shows its power through Bill's story. And ever since then, Bill has completed over 150 transactions. And I believe only a handful of those he's used his own money on. And he has grossed multiple 7 figures in real estate. He is a marketing leader. He's on the PIT, meaning he's in training to be on the PAC, the President's Advisory Council, with our CEO, Bob Snyder. And we're very fortunate to get to learn from someone like Bill. So take notes, and I'm excited for what Bill has to share with us this morning. Good morning, Bill. Billy?
Here we go. It's so funny. I click on the thing like 15 times, and it finally comes up. Let's see. I'm on speaker view, so I'm going to go to, there we go. There's everybody. Welcome. Good morning. What's up? Thanks, Keely Beals. Got a little more work on your hands with the waiting room. I had a special, impromptu training last night for my team. And so it was the first Zoom that I've done since they changed it, and I had to do the same thing. And
it's fun, huh?
Dial in and it'd just be spinning, and always fun. So even more on your plate. So congratulations on handling it and appreciating it and taking care of it and making us all just seem like everything's smooth as hell, right? It's awesome. You're the best. Right on. Okay, guys, I got good stuff in store. Welcome. So I'm going to really quick pull up the chitty chat. Whoops, I just increased it the size of the moon. Okay, there we go. Good morning, everybody. All right, I'm going to send this in there. Sometimes I forget, but 760-533-3141. 760-533-3141 if you're driving or not, can't see the chat, then you can have that as well. But that's my personal cell phone number. So welcome, everybody. It's going to be exciting to have what we got in store for you guys today, too, with the real estate mastermind, or real estate training coming up after this, starting that today. And I just appreciate everybody being here. and taking your time out of your day and listening to me, which is pretty cool. It boosts my already large ego. I'm just kidding. But yeah. All right. So you guys are fabulous. Here we go. As you know, if there's anything you want to talk about, I don't care where it goes, what the question is, what the thought is, what you're working on. You please know that I mean, we'll go in whatever direction. This call is about you guys. It's about, and I can almost imagine that 90% of us are interested in the same topic that you're thinking of anyway. So it's good for everybody. So anything that is of value that I can share, you know, I always say this, you know, I'm not the, you know, I'm not.
What are your thoughts on how to find more people, Bill?
So say that again, Charles.
Thoughts on, you know, different ways to find more people. Get
Well,
more people to talk to.
Awesome. So I'll start with, I always heard this from Bob Snyder, from the first time I met him, you know, 13 years ago. Number one is, if you're serious about the business, and all of us are serious, but I mean, like, whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's your Renatus business, even real estate for that matter, you know, and then you can even move that into life, right? If we have one avenue, one freeway, one opportunity, one direction, it limits us, right? So if we have one avenue of leads coming in, it is limiting. And so most people will do 2 or 3, but when you take a business very serious, when you blitz, when you, you know, go all in, when you burn the boats, things like that, then you have 5, 6, or 7 lead sources. So any type of advertising for cold market leads is good, right? Street signs. So street sign, I came off a street sign. I saw, you know, it's not compliant anymore, but I came off of Real Estate Investor Seeks Apprentice. So you'd have to be, you know, double check with corporate and make sure you get a street sign that works. But, you know, that's an option. You don't have to put out, you know, 500 like we used to. You could put out a few around your neighborhood or something more discreet. Then you could also do some sort of Craigslist advertising. Obviously, where it's not compliant to be in any type of medium or advertising source where you're looking for a job, or you're trying to advertise for a job, you know, Indeed and all those types of things. It's just not compliant. It is misleading, unfortunately, even if we have the best of intentions. So you'd have to be creative and get yourself into a real estate group on Craigslist or something like that. You could do marketing where you're paying for leads. They're technically cold market leads. So you might want to have 2 or 3 cold market resources where you've never met them. They don't even know that you're going to be calling them, or rather they're calling you off of an ad. They really don't know what it's about, but you're putting out a message somewhere that someone's responding to. All right. So, you know, you in that source, you got to be creative. You could pay for leads. There are companies that have data, like iOS for the real estate has software. They pull data across the country, public record data, promissory notes, deeds of trusts, foreclosure information, all these divorce and whatever's public record. They pull it, they scrape it, you filter it, and you can call on them, and that's a cold lead for real estate. But the same companies, they scrape data across the country. When anybody puts in Google searches, you know, work from home or real estate investing or anything on the internet that they Google search, then their information, especially if they've clicked on something, put in their information, and now they've got an email and a phone number or a name or whatever in the system, somebody scrapes that data, and that's a hot cold market lead. That's somebody who's actually looking. Well, you can pay up to $5 a lead for that stuff from some lead sources, right? There you have to have a budget for your system. You might want to have some scripts, you know, if you're with Michael's script writing course, and have some systems in place, which is exactly what I want to talk about today. In my opinion, you know, unless you are full-time, you burn the boats, you quit your job, you're doing all those things, and you're focused on 100% marketing, then if you're not, you've got to be a little bit more target rich, right? You've got to be more direct, more specific on your lead gen, right? So you can have a better chance of introducing this to someone who has the opportunity to be a raw student, right? A raw client, ready, able, and willing. And so, generally speaking, you know, get with your 5-star, and that source is your warm market list, right? So that the things that seem to be working in today's market and have always worked are warm market list, right? Write down your name of 200 people that has any familiarity with you at all, even if it's a kid's teacher. You know, maybe you don't spend a lot of time with that teacher, but your kid does. Whatever it is, and then you and your 5-star or whatever, or you on your own could make a decision on how you want to approach them. At least they're down on paper. You may never contact them. You know, Facebook is obviously a very powerful, what you would call cold to warm market. They become very warm very quickly by following you or by you engaging in conversation. Another cold market source that is very popular right now, we've done a Super Saturday trainings on it. It's on YouTube, but we're working on, they've developed a Facebook page for it. But, you know, the Facebook group is very powerful. You can join Facebook groups. You can, if you're on purpose, I'm not even one of these people, but if you're on purpose and you take this seriously, there's great success in befriending people, 3-foot ruling people in a Facebook group that's related around business or money or investments or real estate or all the above. And you can begin to build rapport through creating value in the source, in the Facebook group, and then you can start to message them, and then you can bring them into our Facebook group or into your own, and then you could take them offline, and they can become a 3-foot rule, in my opinion, where you've turned somebody into a lead through 3-foot rule off Facebook. These lead sources are on the warm market spectrum. They are on the more powerful spectrum. Now, the cold market leads, the street signs, you know, the door hangers, you could, you know, if you're like Yaz, you know, Yaz puts ads everywhere. If you don't know who Yaz is, that's really the brains behind the Umair and Yaz combo out there. They're on the pit team with me. You know, they quietly have made over 150 grand a year for multiple years with the marketing systems in place. And she just markets everywhere. Now she uses the BIF system, right? Our BIF from Bob Snyder. And she puts them, when I was out there doing a training for those guys in Virginia, we'd be going down an escalator at the mall and at the coffee shop. She's dropping those cards everywhere, right? She puts them in doctor's offices. She advertises on Craigslist. She advertises on Facebook. She does Facebook marketing, you know, just regular organic Facebook marketing. I don't think she does any paid Facebook, but I know Zach Ullman does. So these lead sources are abundant. It's a matter of what you're comfortable doing and how you feel and what you're going to actually do. I feel like at the very least, everyone should have a cold market lead source that enables you to just practice screwing up. Talking to people, whether they show up or not, it doesn't matter. You had conversations on learning how to control conversations through questions, learning how to, you know, invite people, learning how to follow up with people, getting numb to the idea of rejection, where people don't show up, they hang up on you, they get mad at you, or whatever the hell it is, doesn't matter. That's all good stuff. And, you know, I had over, you know, probably 500 leads when I got back into this from Facebook or from Craigslist, when we used to be able to put them on Craigslist ad. And it's just a great tool to hone your skills on talking to the people that are ready, willing, and able. So anyway, took a long time to answer a simple question, but I appreciate the question. I hope that helps. It wasn't, yeah, go ahead.
Oh. Hi, Bill. Good morning.
Yep.
Just
Morning,
wanted
girl.
to, yeah, just wanted to find out if anybody's having problems with the OS, you know, OAS, OS, signing up
link?
over there, because I've been trying last night, and Michael said it was okay last night, but I tried 4 times and it still didn't go through. So I thought I'll try it this morning. and I tried it, so the same thing. So it keeps saying that it declined my card, but then there's other messages, below it that I texted Michael last night, and so
Hey, Gilda.
oh yeah, there's a Skylar. So I called my credit card company and see if they even see it, and they didn't see that I've even used my card. So
Yeah, so we've got a developer working on fixing that right now.
okay.
I think it's current.
All right, because yeah,
And
Michael.
so it should be resolved shortly.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to find, because I want to attend the one after this one. So
if you're on the OES, yeah, Michael would have emailed you already the link for the one after this one, and then
no, I didn't get to sign up, Bill, because that link that he gave us yesterday, it's not working.
Yeah, so I'm old school, you guys. I signed up in OES through Helios.
Just do it through Helios.
Yes.
And it's the way you do it. I mean, Michael's trying to make things simpler, and that's awesome. Vanessa's phenomenal at this stuff. But if that happens, just go to the old school way, man. Just go into the back office or Helios and click on Michael's events and sign up for his OES.
Yeah, that may be what I would.
Yep.
Just go.
Okay. I'm old school.
The only problem with that is you have to be an ICM to pay for OES using Helios, and that's what Michael was trying to get around. For someone who's just a student, they wouldn't be able to sign up for OES using Helios. He said yesterday.
Okay. That is
I didn't hear that part, but yeah, I'm both, so I could sign up there.
Yep. And I don't know if there's any non-ICMs on this call anyway. I mean, otherwise they'd wonder what the heck we're talking about.
Right. Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Skylar.
Of course. Skylar froze up a little bit, but thanks, Ada. I appreciate it, Ada. Awesome. Cool. So good question. I don't know if anybody has anything in regards to what Charles was talking about, but those leads. I'll talk to you a little bit about systems, and I'll talk to you a little bit about, like I said, if you guys have anything you want to talk about, it's awesome. So this is exciting. So, one of the things that, a couple directions I'm going to go here. First I'll talk about this, and then I'll finish up with system. And then if there's any questions in between, we go that direction. But, Michael talked about like this, it's kind of morphing into what we're trying to accomplish, right? We're constantly trying to, and when I say we, I'm talking about your leaders, Bob Snyder alone, right? It starts with him, and he comes up with our international marketing opportunity, constantly raising the bar with the education, constantly trying to make, our systems better by creating a $3 million Helios software, always creating more value. Then the pandemic hits, and now we've got to go online, right? And, most of us were like, it's going to be a couple of days, and then it's going to be a couple of weeks and a couple of months. And now we're like, we got to take it serious, right? And so, with all the fall off over the last 5 months on Zoom and the local meetings, we've decided to, we're trying to bring value to people, create more people in the rooms and all those things. So now, with the help of the collaboration team and the leadership, starting with, Ryan Black and Michael Huggins and Vanessa and all these folks at the PAC, they probably discuss it every single week. In Chicago, they're doing things, everybody's trying to make it better for everybody. And so, we've come together, and joined forces, with Arizona, part of my team, Arizona, and then Denver, and then Tennessee. You guys all know all this. So, well, along that line is now we've got this cyberspace that we're in, where we're creating these webinars, and people get on, and then they see the information, and they get the introduction, and they get the follow up, and they get the little teaser from the Velocity Banking, and you guys understand this. And then they have a decision to make on what they're going to spend. And it's hard because they don't meet us, right? And we're a belly to belly business. As you all know, we are a face to face. We all miss it. Everyone on my team that I talk to, like if I had to ask them a question, all they miss is the camaraderie, right? They miss the hugs. They miss everything about what we all miss, right? And, and Bob Snyder's the leading that pack, right? He loves to hug. He loves the event driven business that he's created. So we've come together and we've created even more value with the masterminds and the systems that they've put together with the, OES, and then, but before that it was, Team Elevate, USA, and then we've got the online property tours, but what else was I thinking? And then these calls and everything. So we've got all these things, but what we were talking about yesterday and what I trained on yesterday, and I didn't even train on it. I just talked about it and I thought about it, but the things that we took for granted when we were live is that there was a hands-on, like people could get to meet each other and they built this trust. And it was a lot of times inherent and immediate and almost a given because we were part of Renatus, because we were part of that group. And the minute someone joined us, and sometimes that's dangerous, no one in Renatus, I think most people don't have any intentions of screwing anybody over, but sometimes deals don't go right. And sometimes people do the wrong thing. Maybe they don't know enough yet and they're too ambitious and they get out there and they do things before they've even watched the class and somebody suffers because of it. That's going to happen no matter what. But we have this ability to just trust the people that we're around right away. We build rapport. It's instant. There's it's kind of like that association authority thing that happens. So, but nonetheless, our groups were very powerful. People, the energy was good. The energy was high. There were stories there. There was success there. And people could feel it, touch it, see it. And they were drawn to it and they would join and it would happen, right? And so we didn't have to sell that. They just had to show up and they could see it and feel it. Right now we've got to sell it. And in fact, it's amazing that we didn't sell it before. And here's what I mean. Okay. Cool. I'm just checking the chats. All right. And so here's what I mean. Like when I did the masterminds at our group, there's some value there. Like we try not to teach at all, right? We are facilitating the education, but naturally we become teachers through our experiences. Okay. So, the interesting thing is like my team and then my Scottsdale team, and then anybody on this phone could call me at any given time. And there's a dozen people on this call, I would say at least, that have called me about a real estate deal. I don't always have the answer. I don't always get to partner with you. It doesn't always work out the way you thought it would work out. But then nonetheless, you guys have called me or texted me. Some people I've helped out. Some people I've given proof of funds. Some people I've helped write a contract. Some people I've helped raise money, whatever it is. There's an inherent opportunity with Renatus that everybody can talk to everybody about whoever you choose to help you with real estate. So you have all this mentorship, if you want to call it that. You have this extra opportunity to just by default get to work with people in real estate that have already done it before, whether they've done one deal or they're just getting started or they've done a lot of deals like me or somebody else, right? And so they're willing to help. And so the masterminds aren't somewhere necessarily only where you're learning something new. You're probably going to learn something, but in reality, you've already paid for the education. The education has everything you ever need. The mentor you really desire should seriously be not me as a fix and flip mentor, but Heather. Like Heather is like, I don't even like Heather because she's so good. I'm just kidding. I love Heather, but you know what I mean? Like that's who you want to learn fix and flip from. You don't want to learn it from Bill Predebon, but then there's that local feel good, get to know, have access to, talk to person. Okay, there's Bill Predebon, right? He's done 120 flips or whatever, how many flips I've done. Let's talk to Bill about flips, right? Let's get into that mastermind. The mastermind, then you get the number and then you could call me or, you have my number now. And that trickles down to what's of value, right? That is the how that Michael was talking about. That is the thing that we took for granted. Not that we took for granted of having it, but we didn't ever sell it. Like we didn't go out. And so last night I was talking to my team and I was talking about this. Like if you could think of people you care about and I don't care if it's your family, you want to start there, but I'm talking even about people that you're embarrassed, you know, you might be embarrassed. They're at 8, 9, or 10. You haven't done anything. You haven't done anything. You don't think you've done anything. You haven't done enough. You're not good enough. Whatever it is in your Renatus experience, there's these people, and they may be new people you haven't even talked to yet. They could be your old high school buddies. It could be anybody, right? But there's people that, if you looked at the Zoom call and you said, I wish Jim was here, or Mike was here, or Sarah was here, or Sally was here, it would be so awesome, right? If I could just get them in, if I could just get them to see this information, right? Because we know how good the education is, but the education is a resource. This Helios is a resource. The coaching call is standard. You know, Gavin McCaleb is unbelievable. And if people could get on Gavin and listen to him, they'd be stoked. But to them, it's a coaching call. That's the same damn coaching call you can get anywhere. You can pay for it, right? All of these things, you know, fix and flip, wholesaling, you know, people think about it and they're like, you know what? Yeah, you guys got short-term rental and you got tax and legal and bankruptcy and all these other extra classes. I don't need that. I just need to learn how to get some money made by wholesaling. You know, I want to fix and flip. I want to do this. I want to do that. And, you know, I don't have time for all that other stuff. And like, they can pick apart and make excuses for whatever reason they don't get started. Typically it's going to come down to money, but that's their excuse. But when you talk about a mastermind, and you talk about getting someone in a Zoom call like what we're going to have after this, you know, if someone was interested in business, personal development, you know, systems, you know, camaraderie, Q&A, getting together, if they're in this call, in my opinion, and I don't just mean mine, I mean Michael's, mine, Dana's, Dane's, you know, Wanda's, and now Lily's, if they're in these calls, and then your own calls within your team, some of these things are so powerful. Like, it is the nuts and bolts. Like, it is the true meaning of Renatus. And that is something that we're talking about now. Now, creating these mastermind or these Q&A real estate trainings coming up, the masterminds that have evolved have become not just a study group, but they are something where you can get to meet people. And yeah, you might learn something in the mastermind, but now you have friendships and you can rely on those friendships and those partnerships where, as you start to do deals or start to want to do deals or start to think about doing deals, you now can reach out to people, and obviously be careful of who you reach out to and who you're listening to for advice. Or if you get the advice, then weigh it off somebody else. You know, don't just take someone's advice and go with it. And you ask one person who may never have done what you want to do, if that makes sense. And everybody's going to mean well, but sometimes you can go in the wrong direction, even though they're in Renatus, right? But most of that is not found anywhere else. There are versions of it. There are Facebook groups. You know, everybody across the country is creating companies that are adding value, but nothing like what we experience here. Nothing like the friendships and the willingness, the abundance mindset, the gratefulness attitudes, the encouragement, the opportunity to just literally ask somebody a question that has done it, and they will give you the full answer. Probably more information than you even thought was possible. And that's what we have here. And that's what Michael's talking about when we think about selling the education, right? We want to provide them with a little bit of fact, you know, 7 seconds here, 7 seconds there. We're lifetime education. We're for two people. You know, we've got this class or that class. There's this instructor or that instructor. There's this Helios or that Helios. You know, all of those facts, you know, coaching calls, one-on-ones, study groups, those are all facts. And those are all things that no matter what drive system they have, they need to know about. But it's not something that we need to sell them on, right? What we need to sell them on is what makes you tick, what makes you feel good, what makes you believe, what makes you understand, and what makes you appreciate what we have in Renatus and what Bob's created, and what the pack is doing to make all of it easier and better for all of us. And that is this. That is, you know, getting to know each of us, you know, being able to talk to people, you know, Keely being able to call me when never doing a fix and flip, and yet not really even studying the fix and flip because she's focused on buy and hold, and she's focused on long-term, she's focused on marketing and building your business and all these things, but an opportunity arises. And all of a sudden something amazing comes out of it. not just money, but the helping her family. And it was an accident on Facebook. It was just so cool. Like, and to be able to reach out to someone with 100% confidence, knowing that, you know, she didn't have to drive an hour every day to get there. She didn't have to go second guess herself on doing all the work herself with hiring people she doesn't know and all that, but she could witness it and experience it and share in it. And it was what I believe to be one of the best flips I've ever done with her was the one I did with Keely and the one we did together. And it was her first deal, and everything turned out really well. And that is what we need to sell. Now, I'm not just talking about the story, right? But I'm talking about her ability to call me. And if you knew the story, and if it was you and you could look back or hear about it, like when Keely called me, she didn't say, Bill, would you do this deal with me? She called up and said, I've got this deal. I really want to help my family. You know, I don't have all the answers right now. And my thought was, okay, great. Let's just talk a little while and see what it is that you want to do. It wasn't, oh, I'll do the deal with you. Oh yeah, let's split it. Oh yeah, give me the deal. I'll take care of it for you. No, it wasn't any of that. It was whatever Keely wanted to do. Did Keely want to do it on her own? Did she have time for it on her own? Did she just want my advice? Did she want to look to wholesale it with me? Did she want to try to tie it up herself and then have me help her sell it to my buyers list? Right? All of it was a 40-minute discussion that we had just on what Keely wanted to do with her deal. Right? There's a difference there than being a freaking bird dog or a wholesaler in a world that you're on a Facebook group with that's, you know, wholesaling Utah or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is the true power of getting to know people and what these groups are about. Like now I see your faces. Like I get to know you guys on a daily basis, whether I'm in the group leading it like I am today, or I'm just listening to Michael yesterday and I get to hear everybody's questions and I get to know a person like Charles who, you know, 3 weeks ago, I didn't even know who Charles was. Now I've seen him ask like 3 or 4 questions. Like it's super, like Skylar, Jess and I mean, like, you know, 6 months ago, I didn't know Skylar. Now Skylar and I, you know, we're on phone together. We're on a messenger system together. You know, we've collaborated together. We've talked about connecting with one of his friends. Like people will get friendships from across the country, but most of the time, you guys, those people are a little bit extroverted. They go the extra mile and take advantage of systems that are in place that these other companies provide, but it's not natural. It takes a little bit of extra effort. It doesn't take that much extra effort here. And we keep providing more and more opportunity for people to actually be able to implement and exercise their education in an actual deal or through an actual business or an actual, action steps that they're taking because of what the how is in Renatus. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about this now. 7:46. I got to respect the time. Make sure there's no questions. I don't see it. Okay. So with that, you guys, think about, in my opinion, as we transition here, I know this isn't as emotional and energetic of a training, but, you know, I really believe that what Michael's come up with and what we've collaborated on where the value is, that it is something that we've all overlooked a little bit. And I think that if you thought of somebody you gave a crap about that you actually would love to have on the call and we're afraid to talk to in any way, you share the intimacies of Renatus on the how, the things that, you know, you come out of some of these calls or some of these real estate calls, some of the mastermind groups, and just even some of the house tours. And you're just not just sharing stories like we have been, but really talking about the ability for things to progress and take shape and take form from the resources. That is what sells Renatus. That is what people would, you could talk to your father or your brother, sister, mother, your child, your best friend, your colleague, your coworker, your coach, your kid's student, teacher, whatever, your anybody. And you could honestly say that regardless of all the resources, library, like, you know, you talk about a college university, right? university. And there's a great library there. There's great education. There's all the accolades. There's great athletics. There's great whatever, all these other resources and these amenities and all these things. But the heart of, you know, being an alumni at wherever, the heart of Harvard, the picture on the wall, the degree itself, the camaraderie, the people that go there, the school's integrity, all of those things are why people go to a university, right? And I don't mean like in general. I'm sure people go because it's the best school or whatever, but you know what I mean? Like it's the heart and soul of the school. You can get this education from anywhere. You get a degree, boom, you go get a job. You don't have to have a Harvard degree to get a good job, right? You just got to do well in school to get a job. It doesn't, but it's where you go to school. It's in your hometown. It's in your home state. It's the colors you want to be. It's the school you've been watching their sports your whole life. That's it. That's the thing. And if you could sell your friends and family on the heart and soul of what you truly believe this to be. And that's the how. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, they need to know what they're paying 20 grand for, right? They need to know what do they get. Yeah, that's all the little tiny facts in the sides. But that doesn't close them. What closes them is the heart and soul. So now as we transition, that's Autumn. Cool, Autumn. That's cool. As we transition, this is the problem. The breakdown is understanding the system to be able to convey that message. Okay, so I'm going to take 10 minutes here, and I'm going to talk about this. It is imperative that most likely, given the sales that you've had, or the lack of sales, or whatever it is, the real estate you've been doing, the life you've been leading, all of these things, you're not that familiar with the exact way that you would move someone through a system. And there's a breakdown, and then that's why they don't buy. It's not always because you didn't close them. It's not always because they don't have money, but it's because they didn't make it through the system, right? And perhaps we didn't, it could be a number of things. I don't know why it is. Forget that. We'll edit that in the recording. Here's what I'm getting at. Like today, I had a one-on-one on Saturday, the second half after lunch and everything with with Bob Snyder's intensive. I left and I went on a 2-hour one-on-one. Most likely, I'll place their order for an FX combo this week. And it started out with a Facebook. It started out with them watching the intro that I sent them. Right? It was they were a warm market sort of, but from a long time ago. But they've been following me on Facebook. Okay, so she finally messaged one time, and I caught it, and she commented. I caught it, commented back, instantly got her on Messenger and started talking to her. She instantly got in front of the intro, but then she had to get it in front of her husband. That took a couple weeks. So the importance of me moving them forward next was I knew that I wanted to get them on a one-on-one. And they chose that they wanted to be in person, which is fine with me. I'm not worried about it. I offered them Zoom, but it was not me, you guys, plugging them into event after event. I didn't get them to a property tour. I did send Rebecca a property tour recording, and as an additional thing, but I hadn't even talked to Paul. She was relating the information to her husband. And so my point is that like I knew what my system was. I knew where I wanted. I continued to get in front of her and ask for the one-on-one, the follow-up. I didn't want to send her just somebody else's follow-up, right? It was a person that I knew. It was a warm market, and I wanted to be in front of them, right? That's the most effective. And so, like, I knew what I wanted to do in each stage. The minute Paul watched it, and she told me he watched it, boom, I set the one-on-one. And the only time they could do it was Saturday. Good enough for me. I don't need to be on the intensive. I watched the first 5 hours. I'm going to go to this one-on-one, right? And at the one-on-one, it was a phenomenal one-on-one closing. That's a whole nother training, but they're still book a meeting from a meeting, which was Paul wanted to do more research. He's an intellect, right? So I gave him myrenatus.com naturally. And then I actually reached out to somebody. I reached out to Michael Huggins. I said, hey, I've got an intellect. I know there's a follow-up I could send him. I know there's this, that, and the other thing. Is there anything that you use specifically for an intellect who's really just trying to do a little more deep research? They don't need to know about the money. They've got resources coming out the butt for how to fund it. She's already 100% in. He just needs to get over that fact finder, right? And he's trying to probably find out anything bad about Renatus or whatever it is. And so Michael sent me a video, right? And so I sent that video to him, texted him, right? And I sent him, hey, I took the liberty of talking to one of the most successful people I know, right? Edified Michael. He sent me a video. This is the video you are going to love to watch. I haven't even watched it. You're going to love this video. This is probably going to help you figure out what you need to know. Let's get on the phone today. Let me know what time today is a good time to talk, right? They want to know the system. But the whole point to this is that I know all along the way from when she first commented on how I was going to respond to the comment, then how I was going to move a comment into a message, and how I was going to move a message into a phone call. So I actually moved a message into a phone call. She works from home. And so I knew that there was a time when I was going to be able to call her. She's like, I'm on calls, but if you call me, I'll be able to talk between this time. I remember this like 2 weeks ago. And then I knew immediately after the call, I would send her the intro, right? Because I'm not going to do an intro over the phone when she's at work, but I needed to set the groundwork and see if she even wanted to learn a little bit about what it is that I do and how I do it and where I learned from, right? So I have a system within a short period of time of how I can get them through to the final asking of the sale, right? And then booking a meeting from a meeting again, no matter what, no matter if it's virtual. In fact, virtual is even better because I can do it twice as fast, right? And so my point to this is, if you don't know this, right? If you are uncertain, number one is I was uncertain. I've done it 150 times or more, or I don't know. I've done it 150 times in a year on these one-on-ones, right? So with that said, I still reached out to Michael because I didn't want to just send him any video that I wasn't sure of. I would have picked a choice and it probably wouldn't have been bad. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person, but nonetheless, why not just text Michael? And he didn't get back to me that second. It took a little bit, but it didn't matter, right? And then finally I got the answer. I looked, and if he said no, I would have figured it out on my own, or I might have asked somebody else. But the point is you can't be you don't have to do this alone, right? And you may even just want to figure out and get a second opinion before you send an answer. Regardless of that, I know exactly what it is that I want to do and when I want to talk to him and what I'm going to say when I'm going to talk to him. And if there's a breakdown between now and the end when you're entering the order and how I'm funding, let me give you another example. I got 5 minutes. When we have a decision in our mind on how we feel someone might fund the education, for example, funding is always an issue, right? They've seen the intro, they like it. They've seen a property tour, they're even more engaged. They're kind of giving you that hint that they're pretty excited about it. I've got this person and they've said they want to do it and, whatever. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, we don't have any money. I just can't afford it right now, whatever the excuse is, right? And we're stuck, like we freeze up. And it's okay. And then we're like, I got to get them the follow up or the funding thing, or I got to talk to them about the funding. And we know that there's credit nerds, so maybe they don't have the money now, but credit nerds can. And we instantly go to a thing. But instead, it's even better. We build this rapport. I know what to say. I know what questions I'm going to ask. I want them to tell me how they're going to fund it, right? And the way that I get them to do that is I ask them the questions. But if we don't know this part of the system, and we've never asked people how their credit is without being like, hey, what's your credit score, right? If we don't understand these systems, these examples and things like that, then we pause and we ask somebody who does. And if it's not your 5-star, then it's got to be somebody you have a phone call with that you can reach out to someone who maybe could refer you to someone who could help you. And then you can go back and do it on your own, but prepare for it. It's almost like you've practiced a script. All right. And this system now enables us to be able to sell the how, but we still have to get them to the how. They still have to see the university. They have to take the orientation, right? How many orientations did you go to when you were looking to go to a college, right? You probably had one in mind, and if you didn't go to college, just use whatever it is. It could be a job interview or something like that. And whatever you've done, you didn't just do one most of the time. Yeah, sometimes you're just, boom, I got the job I'm in. That's the one I wanted. And I get that. But you know what I'm saying? Most people, they gotta see it, touch it, feel it, but then they have to actually experience it. And that's where we direct them. That's where we, as a person. And if we are busy with our family, our life, our children, our job, our online, our this and that and the other thing, and we're not moving 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people through the system a week or even a month, then it's unfamiliar territory. I mean, you are steering a boat you don't even know how to drive, right? In a storm, because you're nervous. You don't want to crash the boat into a rock or some beach sand or something. You know, what are those things called in the middle of the ocean, right? Sandbar or whatever, because you don't know it. And so we have fear. So instead of moving forward and worrying about hitting the sandbar, we just don't even drive the boat. We just let it coast itself. It doesn't work that way. We've got to understand the systems. So if we don't, we can rely on a captain. We can call up a captain, right? We can rely on a first mate. And then we can go back and grab the steering wheel and go around the sandbar or do whatever we need to do, or I don't know, float the boat even more or whatever. Sand dune, thank you. Top of the hour, thanks. Yeah, I got 7:58. All right, let's shift gears. So get on the OES. I think we have to log off this call and then we go to a new Zoom link. I'm going to put it in the message real quick. Everyone in waiting room, nope. Everyone in meeting, 760-533-3141. All right, 760-533-3141. So I hope that helped elaborating a little bit on what Michael was training on. This experience, you guys, 30 seconds left. This experience that you're about to experience and for the rest of the weeks with these things, this included, folks, think about it and go learn some real estate, but man, take it to your marketing game. Take this experience and share this with the people you love and sell this combined with all the others, and you will have more success. All right. Thanks, everybody. Keely, I'll let you, you got the controls, or do you want me to end it?
Can
Thank
end
you,
it.
Bill.
Just wanted to see if Skylar had anything to say.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks,
Oh.
Billy. Great
See
training.
See you on the other side.
All right. See you on the other side, folks. You guys are awesome. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Bill. You guys are awesome. Deborah.
Thanks,
How do you
Keely.
get OES from Helios? Deborah, you're gonna have to go in and click on Michael's event and just filter with Michael Huggins, and then click Michael Huggins, and then on the right hand side there's a drop down tab and it says join OES, but you have to find it. I'm going through it fast, but